it's not 6 p.m. So.
He's already paid for a copy of it.
Okay.
So as soon as I get it.
Yeah, he'll be able to come back tomorrow and get it, and I'll explain that to
No,
him.
I gotta mail it to him. I got the address.
Okay, let me go talk to him real quick then. Mr.
Hi, good afternoon.
How's it going?
Melody?
Yep, come on in.
My name's Daniel.
Okay. All right. Have a seat in here.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm wearing a mask just out of consideration.
Okay. All right. So what's the complaint that you have on Officer Romero?
Okay, passing through town. You
Okay.
Probably won't see me again. Unfortunately, may become an example.
Okay.
Mr. Romero claimed himself here as a victim, and he is the one
Okay.
that decided to give me the trespass, to trespass me, even though the initial lady that had called, is your body cam on?
Yep, it's on.
Even though the lady that had called wasn't, I don't think she was going to that measure. But
Okay.
for some reason, he took it upon himself, and he listed himself as the victim here,
Okay.
which is unusual. And in this, it says, Daniel was walking around the complex playing his guitar. True. Daniel caused 2 disturbances. Not true.
Okay.
So I am trying to get the surveillance from Publix. They don't have it. I'm going to call the other stores. But my fear is, in these times, that behavior or action, performance like this, compromises the integrity of the force in general. Because I feel like by rendering himself claiming himself as a victim, how was he victimized?
Well, if you look, it actually says victim, owner, or custodian.
Right.
Okay. So he's not necessarily claiming himself as a victim.
Owns and controls the property.
Right. So what we do is we get letters from property managers, and they give us consent to trespass people if those people are causing a problem on the property. Okay. Now, the officers didn't make contact with you just out of the whim. They made contact because somebody called, and I believe it was Robin, who's the property manager, that said that.
That's the lady from the store
Yes.
as well. Okay.
Yes. Now, what I can do is I can call her for you if you would like and ask her if she wants the trespass rescinded or if she wants it to stay in place.
Okay.
Because she has ultimate authority above and beyond ours.
Oh, because
Okay.
I asked him who trespassed me. He said he did.
Yes, because he has trespass authorization.
Okay.
Okay. I've already discussed with him the procedures that I like to see.
Right.
And that is that typically, if the custodian is not their property manager, owner, what have you, then we do the trespass.
Right.
We can still do the trespass, but it's, in my opinion, it's a better practice for us to have them do the trespass if they're there.
Right. That was my thing, and I asked the lady, Robin.
Right.
I don't think she wanted to. Now the thing is like. He acted more or less on a profile that he had created by biasly siding with them against me with their feelings. Because when I presented myself to him, the only thing that could have been questionable to set him off was the fact that my loss of composure. Now, and with the incident, the guy almost hit me, and the lady yelled at me, and there was no sign saying that was a test course, because I could have been construction, because the building is for lease, and I really didn't see that was going on. So and the lady was like, "You're walking through the thing." I said, "There's no sign." She's like, "It's kind of obvious," and she was yelling at me. So, to say that I caused 2 things was totally wrong.
Okay.
And I just feel like he acted on a profile created by himself, and he commandeered the situation to be against me. And I think that he could have actually mediated a lot better, and everybody could have been peaceful, because I even told the lady, Robin, I says, in a couple hours, because I'll leave the property and go
Mm-hmm.
take a nap, but in a couple hours, the guy's gonna come that has the storage, and I'll put the stuff in storage, you can go on with your life, I'll go on mine, you'll never see me again, right? And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
So now that this is here, this is a mark against me technically, because it is on record. And I am fearful of this, because I am fearful of retaliation, okay, being that I'm in the area, I will get eyeballed now, because it's known that on here I caused a problem, and I've been kicked off of that property. So now I have a stigma on top of me now, and a label and a categorization as an offender. And my fear is that me leaving this community, or if I do happen to come here again, I probably won't be in the same vehicle, because that's a rental, but
Okay.
is in like the future. So I want to take action now to make sure that this guy doesn't either retaliate that I'm going to get this footage, because I need to hear what the lady said, first
Right.
of all, about me, and I want the
Well, I can tell you, I don't know if he called her ahead of time. There's nothing on body camera. It has him pulling up to you. I just watched it.
Right, and I approached him because
Right,
I
in
needed
front
to
of Publix.
control the situation, because I'm transparent, and I know
Okay.
that there was gonna be a problem. I actually was gonna call the cops when the guy getting his alcohol, who probably got in the car, I was gonna say, call the cops then and say, look, some guy, he just got a bottle, he almost hit me, and I chose not to. Instead, I was just like, dude, you came too close, and then, I'm like, don't hit anybody else, and whatever, and the other lady, my response, I didn't just come out and start mouthing. I only respond. And, that's basically what happened. And the way this looks, by saying that I caused a problem, regardless, it says victim, and this exists. And that
Right,
puts me.
but that, like I said, it says victim, owner, custodian.
Right.
Okay, it's one of those three. It's not, or it could be all three. If you own it, you're also the custodian and you're the victim. But it's, in this sense, he's considered a custodian. So my question to you is, after hearing you, because I watched the video, he didn't act unprofessional
No, but
from anyways, but what are you looking to have done? What would you like to see done?
quite honestly, if he could come here, take this away, and apologize to me, and shake my hand, and know that, okay, I'm nonviolent.
Okay.
I don't live inside the context of everybody else's routine. I don't even, and I don't even care to look like it either. And I
Listen,
don't want to profile.
you're allowed to live how you want to live.
That's why I got this flag
know.
in my pocket. And I unfortunately have a history with Florida with malicious prosecution. This has been going
Okay.
on since I've been 15. So
Well-
I have to nip this in the
I
bud.
can tell you the officer's probably not going to come shake your hand. It's number one, it's a safety issue when we're working. I doubt he's going to apologize, and I'm just being straight up with
That's
you.
okay.
Because I don't think he feels he's done anything wrong, and
Right.
he's just doing his part. But what I could do for you, if you'd like, I can call Robin and see if she'll rescind the trespass for you.
That would make me feel a lot better, because
Okay.
if not, then I'm gonna have to call her corporation. Now, let me ask you this, you have her personal number?
No, I don't.
Okay, because I was wondering how she called too, because I would like to get that and hear what was said about me, and I
Well,
requested that.
central dispatch.
Right, and like that right here, like, I'm worried, like, okay, is this guy gonna make a hobby out of me? Do I have to get a restraining order against him? I mean, that's, and then I pick up this too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you and the
Let
other
me-
people
let me
here are
call her
very
real quick.
professional.
Hey, Robin, it's Sergeant Melody with South Daytona. Hey, I got a question for you. The gentleman from earlier, Daniel Chiotis, at 10 o'clock this morning, do you want to keep the trespass in place, or do you want to rescind it? Okay, so you want to keep it in place. Here, hold on. I'm going to put you on speaker because he's sitting here with me, so.
Eric just dropped off the paintings that I was taken to the storage about an hour ago. He picked them up from me at the Dollar Tree across the street, and then he went over there and he put them in the unit. He's
What's
actually
the person's name?
What's
Eric.
Eric what?
Eric what?
He's a guy. He brought a bunch of paintings in there. It was in a surfboard. I don't know his last name.
Do you have anybody that brought a surfboard and paintings in
Within an hour.
within the last hour or two?
Yeah, I did have somebody bring
Door-to-door
Eric
movies.
Duke.
What is it?
Door-to-door movies, and there was a surfboard and a bunch of paintings.
Yeah, it says door-to-door movers is on his phone.
He was a guy with a goatee, and a short reddish kind of hair. gray
Red hair,
No.
goatee?
shirt.
No,
No?
He was there.
no.
Okay,
There was no one brought paintings or a surfboard in.
okay. All right, well, I'm here with him. I'm talking to him about the incident, so,
Okay.
I know, I guess originally you had said that, and I don't know, I mean, maybe I misheard it or missaw it on video, that originally you just wanted to leave off the property?
At one point I did, but when that guy never showed back up, or no guy ever showed up with any of that kind of stuff,
Okay,
I'm gonna call him.
I figured, okay, but when he yelled at our girl from the DMV, and, because
okay,
she was just trying to get him off, she can't talk real good, real high. She's the little old lady. And when he yelled back at her and called her all kinds of names, that's when I said no.
okay. All right, well, I figured I'd call because I know Officer Romero did the trespass. I know we have authorization,
Right.
but being that you're still ultimately the care and control, you have the right to rescind them or keep them in place. So that's why we were calling.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Robin, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Can I call him right now and see what he says? Because he
You
just
can
dropped off.
well, here's the thing, man.
Maybe he didn't drop it off yet. Maybe he just took
Well,
it, but she may not have seen.
But the problem, here's the issue where it comes down to at this point, okay? That is considered private property.
Right.
And they have the right to trespass and refuse anybody they want.
I can't even
Whether
go
it's
to
good,
Publix over there.
whether it's good practice or not.
Yeah.
So, the problem stands is, at this point, she's citing an incident that apparently happened in front of the DMV. I don't know, I wasn't there.
Right.
Okay? None of the officers were there. They have to go by what was being said, and ultimately, whether you're right, she's wrong, she still owns or controls
Right.
the property because she's
Completely
the property
understand it,
manager.
yeah.
So she has a right to say, no, I want him trespassed.
Right.
I was willing to go that far and
No,
see if she
that's totally.
rescind it. So that's kind of where we're standing.
Well, she's calling me out to be a liar now, too, in a way, by saying that nothing was there. And I could tell you,
Again, that's,
Right,
I
right.
can't prove anything. Do you own a storage unit there, or is
No,
it
this
somebody
is-
else's storage
it's
unit?
my friend's sister. I just brought
Okay.
stuff down from Connecticut. And there's the
gotcha.
text right there. And, like, she even sent me,
I believe you
it's
were here to bring.
100% true. I don't know. She might have not been looked. Maybe he's
Well,
going to do it in by the end of the day.
Right,
but he
I
just
don't,
picked it up.
and I don't know. So
So I got to go after her now.
my suggestion is if you're with somebody that owns a unit there,
Yeah.
and you're being invited as a guest, we can't do anything.
Right.
All this is stating, so when somebody trespasses on property, the way it works in the state of Florida is if you're trespassing on property, okay, you're in a restaurant, okay, and they ask you to leave,
You got to leave.
and right, but
Yeah.
you don't.
I'm 47. I've been
Okay.
around the block.
Right. But now you come in, now the police get there, and now you've been told to leave, and you don't,
You're in trouble.
you can actually be arrested.
Oh, I know about
This is more of a courtesy that
Yes,
we
sir.
do is, we say, okay, look, we're gonna give you the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
We weren't here to see it, so we're gonna give you a trespass, what's considered a trespass warning.
Yeah.
Does it go on your record? Not really. If I were to do a criminal history pull on you, you're never gonna see this. This stays in our system and the county system, so that if anybody ever stops you in front of, or in the mall parking lot, and they run your name, they can run you to see if you've ever been trespassed.
Right.
That's as far as these things go. If you have been, then the officer can act upon it and make an arrest.
Okay.
You know, but I'm going to tell you, if, let's say a year from now, you come back down and you forget about the trespass, whatever, because these stay forever,
Yeah.
okay?
That's my problem.
An officer's not going to make an officer shouldn't make an arrest on it when it's been that long,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, but-
Because
but a reminder
it's
at
a
32.
misdemeanor. They can still do a charging affidavit, send it through, but not make a physical arrest on
Yeah.
you. That's how I would do it, and that's how I tell my guys to do it. So, that's kind of where we're at right now. So, I mean, as far as that goes,
Yeah.
he's acting upon Robin's authority
Right.
to trespass you, so there's not a whole lot I can do with
Well, that's
that.
the thing is, she initially didn't trespass me. He took it upon himself, and now she's just going with it through the advice. So
Well,
I'll see the camera because there was
Yeah.
conversation afterward that took place, and I'll get to hear what she has to say. And by going and
Maybe,
getting
maybe with Officer Martin's camera. I know Officer Romero's camera was done as soon as he gave you, because he actually left there.
Martin is the other
Officer-
one?
yeah, Officer Martin's the other one.
I forgot because I'm like, makes me nervous.
No, I got you.
But, before he left, she was saying some stuff, so I want to.
Yeah, I don't know what she
That has nothing
said.
to do with you guys.
Right.
That's what it had nothing to do with you guys whatsoever until he.
I got you.
And that's the thing. That's why I say, it could compromise ultimately the
Well-
integrity because I am one of the people, and
But the problem, what happens is the problem comes down is that the business has made a decision to give us authorization to
Right.
trespass people.
and I have to respect it.
So,
I will.
so he's only acting under the authority of the business saying, hey, we want you to trespass people that maybe are causing a problem, or that it all comes down
Yeah.
to it. We don't just show up and go, that guy right there, we're going to trespass. And there's got to be a reason why the officer's going out, making contact with you, and everything else like that.
admittedly, I did unload on not only the guy
I could-
and the lady. She was absolutely rude, but I
Right.
never, especially talking to women, I just won't fire off.
Well, I can understand where you would be a little upset. I don't know where exactly it was in the parking lot where they almost ran you over, but
Yeah, I was in a space. I was walking by the spaces, the lines.
I got you.
And all of a sudden, like 2 feet from me.
Well, it's a parking lot. Most people don't pay attention to speeds in a parking lot. It's the truth. I drive through there plenty
I
of
know.
times.
It's rough being a pedestrian, let alone being on a bicycle.
Right.
But anyway, I appreciate your professionalism and,
Not a problem.
taking the time here.
The video, I guess you talked to the records clerk, James, and he says he's going to he's going to mail you the
Yes.
video. So it'll be available tomorrow. If you're around tomorrow, you can pick up a copy tomorrow.
I
But
really can't stay because
I-
I'm
well, that-
behind and stuff.
no, I got you.
That's the whole thing.
So there's my business card. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to call.
Not for nothing, but for educational purposes, how would you feel if I got, this is being recorded too? Our conversation?
Oh yeah, you
here?
could, by all means.
Because you know what, like, I'm more about this.
Right.
But in this case, this scares me, so I think about this before this. That's why I'm
Right.
talking to you, because you know what? He can save somebody's life. Do
Yeah.
I agree with everything? Is it a hypocrisy going on with half of the statutes and code of law?
Well,
yes,
and-
but it's,
And
at the
unfortunately,
discretion.
right, and unfortunately, when we start talking private property,
Yeah.
it gets it's a little different because the owners have a right to,
Totally.
have whoever they want on their property, so to speak, to a degree.
Yeah.
You can't start going, that guy and that guy, I don't like them in that sense for whatever reason. When it starts getting into the race, religion, that kind of stuff, then there's a problem.
I got this guy's name is just as much of a stigma as my long hair is. I don't want to pronounce the G.
Pignataro?
Well,
I pronounce it all. Well, no.
People would stop
far-
at that because he's a cop.
Far
because
from
he
it.
works for the cop. Right, exactly. Yeah, so I appreciate it.
So-
And, my first response to the lady with the DMV was, "There's no signs," which there's not. And
I don't know,
for the driving course, it doesn't say course. It doesn't say anything.
So this was in the back of the mall.
No, in the front where the bank is, that's for lease.
Did they have it coned off at all?
There's partial cones, but I thought because it's a lease building and the people were driving around, they looked like they were
Right, I
looking-
think-
it looked like construction going on, like a remodel.
Yeah.
Because it didn't say DMV safety course, and that's
No,
the whole
well-
thing. So I'm going to go after the DMV and say, look, it's negligent because that caused me to
Usually they have it coned off,
it's
but,
coned, but just a lady sitting there with a clipboard underneath the overhang.
well,
It's
yeah.
like kind of like her ignorance. I paid for because
Right.
they didn't prepare the area. So I went into the property owner
Now-
and said, did you give permission to the DMV?
Now,
Let's
just-
to see how far this can go.
Just,
here."
just so you know,
Yeah.
if you have to conduct business at the DMV,
That's,
that does not apply.
I was
okay.
like thinking that. I'm like,
Right,
what if
because,
I wanted to?
or the post office. The post office and the DMV are their own separate entities in that sense, where
Right.
because it's a public place, it's not a privately run organization.
No.
So,
Yeah, I'm a resident of North Carolina just because I just wanted to,
no, I got you. So,
I appreciate it. I guess you know what I'll do is I'm gonna have that dude just let the lady know that I'm legitimate, just because
Yeah,
now
well-
it looks like I'm a liar. This guy's got me looking like I caused
if
incidents.
if you get the guy to talk to him and he decide and again, she's the one that's ultimately going to be the one that's going to be able to rescind that trespass warning. Okay, so I doubt calling tomorrow to see if she'll rescind it would probably be an idea, but
I'm just gonna let it ride. Because you know what? People just can't call the police because that implicates you guys because someone else is in fear. And quite
Well-
honestly, I have 911 calls that I've gotten from other places where
But
they
it-
said, he looks suspicious.
Oh,
Now,
oh,
all of a
trust
sudden-
me.
And you guys show up and that's totally not fair.
it's not. But we still have to do our job.
Yes,
Now,
you do.
And believe me, we get a bunch of them. My favorite one is there's a black man walking in my neighborhood. Okay, so what's suspicious about that? Because he's black? I mean,
Yeah.
that's I don't like that.
Right,
you
but
know?
then you have to go out there
Right.
because it's a civil service. So the responsibility of us, unfortunately, I have to say us attaching myself to these types of people.
Right.
But they
But-
have to take it in the hand too.
But as the
They're not
officer,
cut and
the
dry.
officer would make contact as a consensual encounter as opposed to an authoritative encounter as, hey, you're not free to leave.
And
That's
by
how
the
I look
way,
at it.
Both of them conducting themselves professionally on
That's
the
good to
scene.
hear.
Now, Romero, he started to turn the more she talked, and because probably the fact that I cursed. So it's always the reaction that they look at, not the initial action. So, at that point, it did go sour, but his initial approach was he did hear my side of the story. And then when the other guy showed up, I started to explain, and then I wasn't allowed to finish because that always happens. Like, okay, you start explaining, then another one comes, you got to re-explain. And now they're like, you explained it 2 or 3 times, and they're like, okay, well, his story's inconsistent. No, I just been talking, I'm nervous, and
I got you.
So that's, I have to look at this because I need to educate everybody else so I can live in a nice world.
I got it, but,
With that said, I appreciate your time.
all right,
Take care of yourselves, be safe,
thank you.
and,
And I'll walk you out here because it does get a little confusing. Not quite a labyrinth.
hey, try defend yourself against malicious prosecution.
Uh,
I went that route.
I'd rather not. I can only imagine.
Well, anybody that does, I got advice for them. Learn how to write motions, not yell,
Yeah.
and be emotional.
Make a left right here.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Straight out that door, sir.
And I just made a video about, sir, mister, and titles, and, I will call you sir.
All right.
Thank you.
I don't care either way. All right. Have a good day. Yes, sir.
Should I add to the request? We had a nice conversation, and it's on the camera. Can I log that in to get that too? Because it's a good conversation.
What's that?
He said it wasn't recorded.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Officer Melody here.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
Sergeant.
make sure that you get a copy.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, sir.